Hey, hello guys. Welcome to my channel again. It's nice to have you guys here. As you can see from the title, like this video is for web development for kids and teens, right? So I must mention that the kids has to be 9 plus, for them to be able to understand the concept in this video. So this video is gonna be like in form of modules, right? Because I can't tell you guys everything about web in one video, right? So I will encourage you to subscribe and click on the bell notification, like so that when I upload future videos, you'll be able to see it, right? So the video is to teach you guys the basics of HTML5, CSS, and JavaScript. And at the end of this course, right, you guys should be able to understand the basics of web development. You should be able to develop your own personal website, where you put cool stuff about yourself, maybe about your family, about your dogs, your cat, and everything, right? And you should be able to also develop website, for your friends, if possible, like, and even you can develop website for your parent for their business, and you get money from your parent for from doing that. Okay, so that's the goal of this video, right? And after I'm done with this course, right, I'm also going to teach you guys Python programming, right? So like that is going to come after I'm done with this website development module, right? So I encourage you, if you don't want to miss that, like, subscribe and click on the bell notification, right? So then after we are done with Python programming, I will also teach you guys Arduino programming, right? If you don't know what Arduino programming is basically introduction to robotics programming, like designing and coding robots. So you guys will be able to design your own mini robot, and you see the robot work, right? It's really nice, right? So web programming, Python, and Arduino programming, that's what I'll be teaching you guys, but it's gonna be in modules, right? So you don't want to miss it. So with that all being said, I'll see you guys in class. Welcome to Programming for Kids and Teenagers. It's nice to have you here, and I think you guys are going to have fun learning from here. I must mention that the kids should be 9 plus years, for them to be able to comprehend the content in this tutorial. Right, so this tutorial, I'm going to teach you guys the basics of web programming, like how to program web, how to work around the web, and deploy your website. At the end of this program, you should be able to create your own personal website, where you can put cool stuff about yourself, pictures about you, about your dog, about your cat, and all of that, and maybe even help your friends, to develop their own personal website, and they might pay you for it. But yeah, it's just to prepare you guys, for courses that you might take in high school or in college, or like possibly you might work as a web developer when you grow up, right? Okay, so then this training is going to be in modules, right? So today is just introduction, right? Yeah, because I can't cover everything in one video. So I encourage you guys to subscribe, and click on the bell notification, so that when I have new videos, you guys will be able to see it, right? So let's have fun. So this is just showing you everything that I will teach you during this course. Like during all the class. Like today is just gonna be like introduction, right? But I'll teach you guys HTML basics, HTML tags, HTML attributes, HTML graphics, where you can put pictures and videos on websites, HTML forms, where people can type in information and send to you, and HTML JavaScript, where we go deeper into coding, right? So and I think you guys will be able to do this. So let's get started. So the big picture, so this is just showing you examples of personal website that people have online, right? Like I told you before, you will be able to develop your own personal website after at the end of this course, right? So just look at examples, right? You'll be able to do any of this, you know. You can change the color, change the pictures, change everything like the way you like it, but at the end of everything you should be able to do this, and you will be able to do it, right? So it just requires dedication, it requires interest, you know. It requires hard work, you know. Yeah, because you will need that. Okay, so before we go continue, right, I just want to kind of ask you guys question. What language do you speak, you know? um so as humans, we have different kind of languages, right? Like we know, we speak English, we speak Spanish, we speak French, even German, Yoruba, right? So these are the language that we humans use to communicate. But if you want to communicate with the computer, you want the computer to kind of um, like display a web content for you, or to put an image on your website, you know. There's a language for that, you know. And the web language that you use is called HTML, right? Hypertext Markup Language, right? Please don't forget this. HTML, Hypertext Markup Language. That's the language that you use to program your computer to design a website for you, right? So it's also like the language is also like human characters, like ABC and all of that, but it's not English. It's not like the language that we know. So you guys will have to learn. It's just like learning a new language. Yeah. So HTML, Hypertext Markup Language. Don't forget that. So before we go into HTML proper, so I want you guys to think about this for a second, right? You have a backpack, right? And you have books that you want to put in your backpack, right? So what are the steps that you take to arrange your books in your backpack, right? You might pause this video for a second and think about that, right? What are the steps you take to put your books in your backpack? All right, so I'm going to answer that. So let's assume that your backpack is your website, like where you want to put design your website, right? And your books are all the content of your website, right? Your pictures, information about you, your music, and all of that, right? So how do you put your content in this backpack? So the first thing that you do, of course, you have to open your backpack. You have to unzip it, right? Then the next thing, you take your books, you put in a backpack, and when you are done, you close it, right? That's how HTML works, right? HTML is where you put everything, like the content of your website. But before you can do that, you have to open your HTML, right? Put your content in it, and you close the HTML. So look at this right here. So we are going into code bit by bit, right? So this is how you open your HTML, right? You left bracket HTML, right bracket. So when you do this, your computer will say, oh, you want to open HTML, then the computer will open HTML for you, right? Just like in your backpack, right? So when you open your HTML, you put your content in it, right? Your videos, your images, your text. I'll teach you guys all of that later, right? Then when you put everything, then you have to close it. See, to close, you have to put a backslash HTML right here. So please don't forget this. You open your HTML, you put your content in it, then you close it, right? So this HTML is actually called HTML tag, right? I'm just using backpack so that you guys can imagine how it works, right? HTML tags, when you open HTML tags, you have to close it, right? And we have lot of tags, right? But anytime you open any tag, you have to close it. Please don't forget that. Open a tag, put the content in it, and you have to close it. If you don't close it, your computer will not understand or what you're trying to say. Like, it's just you speaking English and not speaking it the right way. No, not putting punctuation marks and all of that. Nobody will understand the same way your computer won't understand. Then you end up with bugs, right? So don't forget that. So another basic thing that we need to know is HTML editors. So HTML editors is kind of the application that you use to write your code. So where you write your code in, like just like you have your notepad, just like you have application to write text, when you want to text or chat on Roblox and all of that, right? So that interface is called an editor. So we have HTML editor. See this picture, this example of HTML editor. So you write your code inside here. So we have different kind of HTML editors. We have Notepad, Notepad++, Sublime Text, and Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code is the one that most cool engineers use, software engineers use, right? So since you guys are cool, right? So we are going to be using Visual Studio Code, right? So I want to assume that you guys don't have Visual Studio Code installed, right? So this is the link to install Visual Studio Code, right? So you can pause the video, then you type this out one after the other, right? So this Visual Studio Code, I will go, give me a second. So you type the URL in here, or you can just say download Visual Studio Code right here. Okay, so then you just click on this. So if you are using Windows, you click on this. If you are using Mac, you download it. Then just follow the installer. So I have it installed already. Just leave when you download it. You will follow the install instructions and all of that. If you have any issues, please let me know. Put in the comment section. I will help you guys to figure that out. Okay, so that's about that. So yeah, so that is the HTML editor. We are using Visual Studio Code, and when you install it properly, this is the interface. This is the first thing that you should see right here. This is what's gonna show you be like. Okay, so so now when you have your Visual Studio Code installed, so I want us to create folders where we'll put all our projects in, right? So because when you write your code, you have to put it in a specific folder in your PC, right? Like you shouldn't just put everything everywhere, right? So I mean, I have examples of what our folder should look like, but we can make it anything, right? So let's assume that you are in this interface, right? So we want to create folder to put our project in. So just come here, click on open folder, right? Then you go to document. You can use any document, but I'm using this, right? So then you open this document right here. You see I have some things in here, right? So now when you open this folder, you should create your own folder that you want to put all your project in. So you click on this. So you call it, so my name is Ayo, so I can say Ayo project, right? So if your name is anything, just say your name and your project, and put project, right? So now we have Ayo project right there. So that is a folder. Remember, you create a folder by clicking on this. Okay, so now we also want to create an HTML file, right? HTML file. So if you want to create a file, you have to click on this first icon, right? So let's just call the file index.html, right? Like this. Okay, so now we are going into coding, right? So this is going to be your first HTML code, right? HTML file, right? So that's the folder structure that we have right now. just to simplify it, have a folder called your name and project, and you create a file under it. Okay, that's good. Okay, so now we go back to how to arrange websites. So if you remember, I told you guys that when you have your website, you have to put it inside HTML, and you have to open HTML, and we have to close it. So now let's do that in here. So yeah, let's open our HTML. So we open our HTML. You see, this editor actually close it for us, so you can just do this. See, just like what we have here, open HTML, close HTML. So we have here open HTML and we close HTML, right? So this is how this works. So now this is the first step, right? You open your HTML, you close it, then we can now put content in here, right? Please don't forget about that. Don't forget that. Okay, so now our web content, right? So I just want to make it look very easy and fun for you guys. So web content is everything that you want inside your website, right? It's just likened to you drawing things, right, on papers, on board, and all of that. That's how website is. It's like drawing things that you want to see, but instead of using pencil and crayons for drawing, you use HTML and CSS. I'll still introduce you guys to CSS, but yeah, please don't forget you use HTML for your web content, and it's just like drawing, you have fun drawing, right? So you also have fun coding. Okay, so this example of web content, and I just want you guys to pause and copy this code, like type this code in your in this index.html file, right? I'm going to type it, but like this example of what HTML. See, we open HTML, we close it, then we have this is everything inside, like this, like the content of the website. So I'll just follow me. So the first thing I will do is we have our head, right? I'll still let you guys know why we need that. Then inside our head, then we have our title. Okay, so you can call it anything. You can say your name and website. So mine, I'll just call it Ayo website. Okay, so now after that, then you go outside of head, then you create another tag called body, right? So this is body, this is where the main content is going to be, right? So then I'm going to create another tag called h1. Again, I'll still teach you guys what that is. Then in here you can just say welcome to Ayo personal website. So you can call it welcome to your name personal website. Okay, so this is an example of web content, right? So now if I open this, you will see that it's gonna look like a website, right? It will have welcome to your personal website, and it will have this title as the title. So let me see, I should be able to open it from here. Open with, okay, so let me go to where I have this actually. Okay, so let me say reveal in Finder. Okay, right there. See, welcome to your personal website. It is really cool, right? So so yeah, so that is that for that. So you can just have an example of that. So yeah, so don't forget we cover basics of HTML. We kind of explain that HTML is a language that we use to design our website, just like English, Spanish, and all other languages, what humans use to communicate, right? Then we said that before we can write HTML, we have to open HTML, and we have to close it. Then inside here we have the body, right, of the HTML, right, which are we these are all tags which I will teach you guys more. So this is just kind of like a refresher, without going back to what, like, the beginning of the video. Can you tell me what is the language for developing a website? If you can pause this video, you can think about it. Yeah, don't mind the 2 points. It's just to make it look like a test, but it's really not test. Okay, so the language is HTML, right? HTML. Don't forget HTML. And the full meaning of HTML, what is that? Hypertext markup language. Hypertext markup language. Then the last thing that I have is the code that we are, like in the previous slide, I rewrote it with some bugs, with some errors, right? I moved some things around, put some things where they are not supposed to be. So I want you to go into this code and find what is wrong, and kind of fix the bug. Because if you write this code the way it is, it will not work, right? So one thing you should also know that sometimes you have errors in your in your code, and errors are called bug, right? So you need to have the skills of reading code and finding bugs and fixing bug, right? So I want you to pause this video, look at this code, and see where the error is, and I want you to put the answer to this, like the code without the bug, right? Put it in the comment section below. Let me see if you actually get this or not, because this is very important. Because like later in the course, like you write code and it won't work. You need to have the skills of being able to read your code and fixing bugs. Okay, so that's the end for today's for this week training, right? So the next video we're gonna go more in depth into HTML tags, like understanding what head is, what title is, what body is, what h1 is, and other tags, right? We just take them one after the other, right, so that we can have more content, in our website. So yeah, this is the first video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, more is coming, right? So don't forget to subscribe, click on the bell notification, and I will see you guys in the next video. And please try to practice. If you don't practice, you won't know how to code. Okay, so I hope you guys have fun, and I'll see you in the next video.